Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nicole Myths, Astrology and Tarot, your Divine Rebel. We are here today for the full moon in Aries, secret code names. For those of you who purchased a secret code name reading, you know which secret code name is yours and which reading is yours. For those of you who did not get one, but one of them stood out to you or one of them resonates with you, there is most likely a message in there for you, okay? Those of you not familiar with me and the channel and are new, please be aware I have no filter. I don't sugarcoat anything. I very much just read how I read. Okay, so if that is not your thing, you got kids around, just don't appreciate, raw, real messages like that. I'm always very respectful of it. I give you the opportunity to sign off now. These are the green light impulse readings. Now, what that is, with this full moon, I usually don't, but I'm actually going to get into some of the astrology for you pre-reading so that you understand the cosmic energy right now with this full moon, okay? Because it's a lot. It's a lot, all right? Full moon in Aries is coming with some major challenges and some major windows and doors. The green light impulse readings are to help you understand what your impulse is giving you the green light for and whether or not it's actually something positive for you, beneficial for you, or if the green light on the impulse you're getting is not necessarily in alignment, right? It's to kind of give you some guidance or advice on how to deal with whatever the impulse is, okay? This full moon, the major aspect going on, the sun is pretty much with Mars, and they're opposing the full moon, which is pretty much with Eris. They are being T-squared by Pluto. Okay, that's what this is right here. On top of it, there's this energy with Lilith and Ceres and Fortune, all within about a degree of each other, who are also challenging it with a sesquare and a semi-square. Okay, so that's a major challenge on the board that we're dealing with. Now, to give you an idea, okay, Mars in Libra, with the sun in Libra. Now, Libra in its light, right, we're talking about the sun. Libra in its light wants everybody to be happy. Wants everybody to be happy. They will do anything for anyone within fair reason, okay? Mars pushes for that. Mars in Libra has a drive or a will to create justice, to create balance, to create equality. What's fair is fair. They're very driven towards equal, things that are equal. The shadow of the moon in Aries can be very impulsive. It can be angry. It could be malicious with Eris there, because Eris is like mayhem and mischief. It's mischief and mayhem. It's very conniving and manipulative, okay? So the moon in Aries with Eris could have a very twisted aspect on how this fairness, this equality, or this balance is reached. It's very passive aggressive almost. This energy could come out very passive aggressive. The T-square that it's getting from Pluto, this is about how we choose to move forward. It's the shots that we call. And it can go in favor one way or the other, or present a challenge that is so difficult that you could literally end things, okay? This deals with our deep subconscious, unconscious soul scars. Okay, these are our deepest triggers that are affecting our reactions. And so there is a need to become aware of your Pluto placement in your birth chart and understand where the triggers are, because that is what is ultimately going to set off, challenge, or drive this full moon energy for you. Okay. To top it off, Vulcan, which I think is highly underrated in astrology. I don't think it's talked about enough. Vulcan is technically the closest planetary body to the sun. It is closer than Mercury. Mercury being the mind, right, and our ability to communicate, for us to move through the planetary lines of things, we have to understand Vulcan first, because Vulcan is the blacksmith, okay, in mythology. He is the one, technically Hephaestus, he is the one that gives the gods the power that they actually have. I mean, the gods are immortal. They have their own things, like they could shapeshift and whatever. But they have their power and keep each other in balance because of their magical weapons, which is what Hephaestus creates in the forge. He creates the magic that defines the balance, okay, which just transitioned into Scorpio. It is at 0 degrees. This is Vulcan right here. 0 degrees Scorpio. Just entered it right before the actual full moon energy hit. This means the weapon being forged, or the magic keeping things in balance, is the ability to go really deep subconscious, unconscious within the self and transform. To literally transform deep under there, okay? This energy being challenged by Lilith and Ceres with Fortune in Gemini. The most difficult aspect with this is to see how, for people, how they create the loss by abandoning their true light. Okay, how they create their own misfortune, abandoning the self, being away from their true light, that they go through these periods of low or depressed or very difficult energy where they feel like life isn't moving forward and they feel stuck, okay? It may be very difficult for you, for people in general, with this energy, to see where they actually make mistakes or could have done things better, right? Where they take ownership of the self is extremely challenging. This could be as far as addressing things or biting the tongue and not addressing certain things and dealing with it internally as opposed to lashing out at it externally, okay? Because the sign of Gemini with this energy, this is about negating the facts. This is about what facts are you negating? Are you negating the reality of things with yourself or with other people? Are you looking at people in their true light with their true intentions, or is it a misperception? Do you not truly understand them? Likewise, how are you also at fault? How are you also at fault? Like, if we're all not perfect and we all make mistakes, then it can't be all someone else's fault, right? We have to take ownership for our own mistakes. If someone makes 99 mistakes and we make one mistake, then we have to own the one mistake. We can't negate it. That's what this energy is. And it's challenging that full moon energy, okay, with the sesquare and the semi-square. What's fair is fair. And if it's not fair, it's not fair. 1% not fair is not fair. 1% not fair is not fair. That's what this moon comes down to. Now, there is another opposition with a minor aspect that's also T-squaring, and this is Mercury in Libra, fresh direct, Still moving extremely slowly. It is not in a full-blown forward motion yet. It is post-shadow. Okay. Mercury opposed Chiron. Chiron and Aries. And they're being T-squared by Hades in Cancer. Hades in Cancer. This is about how we transform the way we love and nurture the self and others. All of these things have to happen simultaneously, right? Loving the self and loving others has to happen simultaneously. We can't pick and choose which one. We can't choose to love ourselves today and no one else, and we can't choose to love everybody else today but not ourselves. They both have to happen simultaneously and create win-wins. And this is the challenge that's coming forward because it seems to be one or the other. Either you create your own peace of mind despite other people's efforts and you tell them to fuck off because you have no patience, time, energy, whatever, or you are giving all of your time and energy to other people to your own detriment, right? To your own detriment, creating your own lack of peace or mental disturbance, that people would interfere with your thoughts. This is about finding healthy boundaries between the two so that you can both be there for others and be there for yourself, right? Being able to communicate what you are actually comfortable with doing and not stepping beyond it. Like, hey, yeah, I don't mind coming by for about a half an hour and just popping in, but I really can't stay longer than that, because in your energy, that's what you know you can absolutely handle. You know, yeah, I don't mind, you know, doing you this favor or that favor, but it's going to have to be on this time and in this way because that's the only way I can actually pull it off. You know what I mean? This is about creating a balance between loving the self and loving other people and having to transform that. There might be situations where, how can I make this a good example? There might be situations where, let's just say you're arguing with someone, right? Or you're having a head-to-head moment with someone with this full moon in Aries, or there's a disagreement and you know you love this person and don't actually want to fight with this person. And at the same time, the behavior is not tolerable or acceptable. And it's choosing to love them through it, because ultimately hurting this person in your relationship with them would hurt you in the long run, because you know whatever disagreement this is temporary. That has a lot to do with the Sagittarian energy going on, especially because there's a yod from Kronos in Cancer and Uranus and Taurus to Venus and Sag. Sagittarius might be having the easiest, hardest time. The easiest, hardest time, because Sag has this Juno energy and Venus energy in there that are both getting hit with yods. They are the apex of yods. All right. Venus being at the apex of Kronos and Uranus, with Juno in Sag and the South Node in Sag, getting ready to leave Sag. Okay, it's within 2 degrees to the end of Sag. It's going to retrograde at some point into Scorpio, right? It's an energy where our heart is guiding us forward, but it doesn't know why or how, or why its power is seemingly being taken away like there's no choice. Sag, being the sign of the seer, can't actually see anything. They can feel their way through. Their feeling is their power right now. Their empathy is their power. Feeling their way through right and wrong, being intuitively guided, is the power right now. Being able to think differently and perceive differently, being open to those things, is what is helping Sagittarian energy move forward, because Sag can't actually see the path short of the 2 steps in front of them that their gut feeling is giving them. This is extremely difficult for people who like to plan and like to control and like to see and like a steady, solid way forward, okay? Because there is no path to actually be seen. It's like walking on clouds. There's no path. It's just seeing a vast sea of clouds and having to walk across the clouds knowing you know the way even though there is no path, right? Is this kind of energy. And everybody's feeling this, right? Everybody's feeling this. If you have really dominant energy in certain houses, you're feeling this super strong. Like Gemini energy with the Ceres, Lilith, and Fortune energy might be having the hardest time recognizing their own reality, the patterns of their own fault or their own reality, right? And having to change those things or shift those things without becoming volatile, without becoming angry or frustrated, and maintaining a sense of what is fair for everyone, and it benefits the self, right? Capricornian energy might be extremely torn between not giving a fuck and giving a whole lot of fucks and not being able to choose which one is going to win out, right? There's certain aspects going on here that we can't, especially with the Mercury opposed Chiron, we can't continue to martyr the self, and yet we can't be the one that also hangs ourselves on the cross, right? We know that we can't self-sacrifice, but we also have to acknowledge where we're the ones that put ourselves there, that we are the ones that pick up the cross and carry it and then hang ourselves on it. You know, we have to understand this dynamic and realize that something has to change. You don't have to bear the crosses of other people and make them your own. And that doesn't just go for the present. That means retro, reflective on the past. I mean, Chiron is retrograding. So is Hades, right? So, and Mercury is just fresh direct. So this is about catching patterns. This is about catching patterns where we go too far for others and we don't know where to draw a healthy line and we just keep crossing the line. You know, like once we cross a line, sometimes we're like, oh, fuck it. Well, we already went this far. I'll just take it a little further. And it's like, yeah, but you can't keep taking it a little further. You already done crossed the fucked yourself line. You already crossed the you fucked yourself line. You don't add more of that energy on top of it. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, well, I already fucked myself. Let's fuck myself some more. Like, who? Who does it? Everybody. Everybody does it. Well, I already did this and I got fucked, so fuck it. Let's just do it. Like, you have to be able to be like, you know what? I crossed this line and I need to digress. I shouldn't have crossed this line. I shouldn't have done these things. It set a standard that shouldn't have been set. I digress. I have to backtrack. And if that's not good for you, I don't know what to tell you. Because what's fair is fair, right? This is about dictating really super healthy lines. Now, there's also yads in here. There's two of them. The major one that I talked about with Venus. The other one is one that is more stationary in the sky because all of the aspects are much slower moving. But they're all minor. They're all minor luminaries. All right. And one is with Vulcanus. The other, it's aiming at Cupid and Astrea with Admetos and North Node and Gemini. They're all at 2 degrees in their signs. Gemini is Admetos and North Node at 2 degrees. Vulcanus is in Leo at 2 degrees. And they're both in sextile quincunxing on Cupid and Astrea in Capricorn. This energy, twin flame counterparts or sacred soulmates, divine counterparts, are absolutely driving home the way to healing ancestral karma or generational karma that has followed people, wounds that have followed people from their parents, crosses that other people picked up from their parents, right? The burdens of and pain of their parents, what is acceptable and not acceptable. Vulcanus in energy is tied to Vulcan, but Vulcanus is the actual forge. It is the volcano. This energy, as slow shifting as it is almost like a volcano that's slowly erupting. It's not like a huge boom. It's like one of those volcanoes that is just continuously spurting for months. It's a major release of pressure underneath. Divine counterparts are healing big time, because the truth about the ancestral karma that can't go on is being released. Even if it is difficult or nerve-wracking to go through. Because people see a volcano starting to spit off and they get nervous. Like, well, is it going to blow up? It's a very edgy feeling, right? It's a very edgy feeling. It's riding the line on what is acceptable and what's not, where people are kind of sort of pushing the limits on what they can get away with or what they can do, because that's what they're guided to do, but they don't know if it's going to blow up in their face. There's a lot going on. Jupiter being direct now is absolutely bringing in some much needed beneficial energy. It's trining on the sun and Mars and sextiling on the moon with Aries, because Jupiter's orb is so large. I mean, it's a couple degrees off. It's not a tight aspect. It's at 22 degrees and the rest are at like 23, 24, 27. But this energy coming in there from Jupiter is an ease. It's all working out in your favor energy. It's all going to be okay energy. Juno in sextile with Zeus and Jupiter, who are in trine with each other. Zeus isn't far off from Mars. They're about a degree away from each other. This unwavering sense of loyalty and acting on loyalty in soul to remind yourself, despite the circumstance, that you are loyal in soul to certain others, brings huge benefit, right? To remember that you have a loyalty in soul, in heart and soul, to certain people, and not lose sight of that ultimately you do want their highest good, that ultimately you do care about their well-being, and that by the end of this life you pray that they are happy, satisfied, and full, right? That we have this loyalty in soul. It is to remember that, and that we are the vehicles of it, the creators of it, that our choices have a say in whether or not that actually manifests because of our treatment of them, the way we talk to them, the things we do or don't do for them, right? It's about the deepest loyalty in soul being acknowledged and remembered with all of this other chaotic challenge energy going on. It's also semi-sextiling on Neptune, which means it truly does pay to dream. It truly does pay to continue to visualize the best possible outcome, especially when things are the most challenging or the hardest. Okay. So with that energy, right, with that energy being the energy of the Aryan full moon, I do want to get into these readings, and I think it'll help you. I think knowing that energy is there and what it is will help you better understand the reading, right? It'll better help you understand your reading. I'm using my Crystal Mandala Oracle as the guidance, and I'm using my Mirror of the Soul Tarot for the insight into the impulse. Okay, the insight into the impulse. So I hope this helps. We are starting. The secret code names are Great Oak, The Bomb, Dalmatian, Sunrise, Strawberry Shortcake, Clematis, Pyrite, After the Rain, Jasmine, Ellipsis, Ghost, and Susquehanna. All right, those are the 12 secret code names. Great Oak, The Bomb, Dalmatian, Sunrise, Strawberry Shortcake, Clematis, Pyrite, After the Rain, Jasmine, Ellipsis, Ghost, and Susquehanna. They're going to be in that order. All of the timestamps will be in the description. I will also note what time the intro to the astrology started if you want to go back and re-listen to those energies, because those energies are what's going to be unfolding big time over the next 2 weeks leading up to the new moon, and be fully realized and or released by the time the next full moon hits. Okay, so starting with Great Oak, at 24 minutes, 52 seconds. Great Oak. Secret code name Great Oak. Spirit, please give us some insight into what this impulse is, what it looks like, what it creates. Give us some insight into the impulse for secret code name Great Oak. What is the impulse with this secret code name? We've got the King of Wands. The Princess of Wands. And the Abundance card, the Three of Cups. Okay. Three of Swords is on top, Seven of Wands is on the bottom. Okay, so the impulse, I mean, overall, the bottom line is coming to the defense of someone, feeling the need to apologize with the Princess of Cups under that. You may be dealing with two very different personalities because we have two masculine energies here. We have two kings. It doesn't necessarily mean two men, okay? It could definitely just be two characters, two big personalities. One could be very loud, could be very controlling of the energy in the room. And the other one is the kind of person who would swallow the poison or take the fault because they are extremely empathic and feel for the way that that energy affects the room, right? It's almost like having someone at the party who goes too far and starts a fight and their date's apologizing for them, right? Like, I'm so sorry, like, we know how he is. I didn't think he would get this way, you know, or I didn't think he would treat the house like that or whatever, right? It's almost like someone is taking fault when they realize that someone else's energy is, and I'm getting the word kind of bombastic, right? Almost very explosive or unpredictable. I'm getting that energy off the King of Wands. It's clarified by the Fool card. It's very Aryan energy. It's also very Uranian energy, Uranus energy. Very unpredictable, very fiery. It could definitely feel as if this person's kind of volcano exploded, like they've reached a pressure point, right? That might, and the pressure might have been building from something, some situation completely outside of the situation they're in. It's just that's where it popped off or came loose. That's where the pressure was released. It could also be someone taking out their stress on the wrong target, okay? The Princess of Wands is having to reinvent themselves into the person who, instead of battling this King of Wands, it's almost like having to immediately be like, listen, it's my fault. I shouldn't have forced you to come. You know what I mean? Like, I know you didn't want to come and you only came because of me. Like, it's not your fault you exploded, right? It's not your fault you lost your shit or that your pressure cap came loose. You know what I mean? It's almost like the having to reinvent the self as someone who is willing to take the fault in order to heal certain things and bring joy back into the dynamic, right? That the alchemy would take place with the Temperance card clarifying the Three of Cups in order to create an equal overflow. Because if the King of Wands considers himself at fault because he feels at fault and like he should be punished for what he did, the King of Cups almost has to come in, right? Green light impulse has to come in and be like, you know what? It's not entirely your fault. I'm not going to react at you. I'm not going to snap at you. I'm not going to correct you or be super disappointed in you and let you know it. Like, it's all right. It's not all your fault. That would be the green light impulse in a situation like this, because otherwise I think, you know, with the Three of Swords on top, that it would end up in a very painful, sad, or hurt situation, right? Where you feel hurt, the person who created the situation, you know, in their mind is hurt, you know, the other people in the experience are hurt, and it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. This is the King of Cups taking ownership. And the reason why the King of Cups might have felt so guided to go there empathically is because this lesson needed to be had with the King of Wands. Okay? That it is not always their fault. It's not always their fault. Sometimes the person who didn't do anything wrong actually took fault, right? It's almost like that Gemini energy I was talking about with Lilith and Ceres and Fortune there. The King of Cups is just as much at fault as the King of Wands, even if it was 99% to 1%, because fault is still fault. And so it's a matter of owning your role in the fault and almost like letting the King of Wands know, like, hey, next time I push you to something like that, if you really don't want to go, be firm with me and be like, just remind me, remember what happened last time you asked me to go? And I told you that I wasn't ready, or I wasn't able to handle it, and I went anyway. Like, do you remember when the pressure cap came off? Like, can we not go there? Can we just accept that I am not going to be there? Or I'm not going to do it? You know what I mean? So that these situations don't happen again where the King of Wands feels bad for being themselves, not being able to help it. Like the volcano can't help that it's a volcano. You put too much pressure on the volcano and it erupts. There's too much pressure underneath, right? To be and do and perform and whatever. And it just wants to be beautiful and dormant and not under pressure, right? It just wants to flourish and create healthy environment. So this is a talk that maybe the King of Cups and the King of Wands needs to have, these two characters, these two personalities, right? These big personalities. Because if one person can take fault, the other person can heal. Like fault where due, okay? I'm not saying take fault for something that you are not at fault for. But if you did or were in a situation where you pushed the King of Wands to do more than he was energetically, mentally, spiritually capable of in that moment, and it blew up in your face, like it's really not the King of Wands' fault. It's not. And the King of Wands needs to know the next time they feel like that, they don't have to be pushed into anything. They could just simply remind the King of Cups, like, do you remember what happened last time? I am not that far different from then. Where I'm at now, mentally, emotionally, psychologically stretched, it's not that different. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to blow up or explode, but I'm saying I'm in that unpredictable energy space. If you make me go with you, I can't guarantee that I'm going to enjoy myself. I can't guarantee that other people are going to enjoy my company. You know, being able to stand up for yourself and be like, listen, I'm sorry. Like, I know you want it, but I'm sorry. And that will help shift. That will help shift a lot of things in the way you guys communicate with each other, the way you understand and respect each other, right? What's the guidance, please, Spirit, to keep in mind with this energy going on? What will help them? Yeah, sensitivity. Sensitivity. Harmony is truth. This is Ascended Master Lady Nada and Rhodochrosite. Card number 21. Just going to read the top bit for you. says, we bring you the blessing of sensitivity. Being sensitive in this world can be tough sometimes, yet your sensitivity is essential if you are going to consciously feel and work with subtle energy. Receiving and sending telepathic transmissions, feeling and releasing energetic chords, tingling with exquisite blessings of divine love, sensing the whispers of divine grace, and seeing the luminous, sparkling particles of life force dancing wildly in the beauty of shimmering auric fields in dazzling and colorful display. That is the longest fucking sentence ever. Wow. Oh. To be given the gift of sensitivity is to perceive the energetic world, is like being invited to the most special and extraordinary exhibit of sacred art. You may have struggled with your sensitivity, found it difficult to bear during times of emotional suffering, yet you have a great gift and it will bring you so much joy. If you are learning to develop your sensitivity, we will help you so that you can feel uplifted as you witness the energetic beauty of creation. The world of energy is very real. You know, the King of Cups can feel when the King of Wands doesn't want to or can't. Even if the King of Wands isn't saying it outright. Maybe the King of Wands doesn't want to disappoint the King of Cups. But the King of Cups can feel when the King of Wands doesn't want to or can't, does not have the energetic wherewithal to do something. Being able to tune into your sensitivity is being able to pick up on that and immediately saying, you know what, don't even worry about it. Like, forget I asked. Not because I know you don't want to, because I know you would. You got too much other things going on. I get it. Sorry, I did not mean to put one more thing on your plate. Forget I asked. I love you. It's okay. Like, whatever this is, I can handle it. I will get whatever I need to get and say whatever needs to be said, do whatever needs to get done, be wherever I need to be. It is all good. Like, you're off the hook for this. I feel you. I respect you. It's fine. However, those words come out of your mouth, right? That's the intention. Being able to pick up on someone else's energy and be like, you know what? I'm asking too much. I'm asking too much. I'm asking you to sacrifice your own authentic well-being. And I realize that. I can sense it. I can sense it. Just because I want you there doesn't mean that you're guided to be there. I could force it and I could make you, but that would end up blowing up in my face. And this goes vice versa, right? If you're dealing in a mirror with someone and you know how this obviously translates to your dynamic or relationship with them, know that it's also the other way around. That when the King of Cups also needs to say no and needs the King of Wands to be empathetic, they can use the reminder to be like, hey, remember when I just had a feeling that you didn't have the energy for this, and I kind of set you free from it, and it worked out well. I'm in a situation now where I know you really want me to be there or do whatever, but I don't actually have the mental wherewithal or energy to focus on that right now. And it's probably better if I don't. It really, truly is. Like, I can go and be there, but I'm going to be just as unpredictable as you. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy myself, and I don't know if anybody's going to enjoy my company. And give the King of Wands the perspective, right? So that you're teaching each other in the mirror of things. So I hope that helps. That is secret code name Great Oak. That's what creates, ultimately, if you think about Great Oak as a symbol, right? As a metaphoric symbol, a synchronicity, that's what creates a super strong family dynamic. A super strong family dynamic. Nothing outside of the family going on can actually disrupt or destroy or take down the oak, right? Nothing can actually take it down. Outside energies are no longer allowed to interfere. Outside energies are no longer able to interfere. It creates a very solid family. Okay. So I hope that helps. The next secret code name is the Bomb. Secret code name, the Bomb. Spirit, please. What is the impulse? What is the situation surrounding the impulse? What is going on with it? What does it look like? What is the impulse for secret code name, the Bomb? What is it? What is it? For secret code name, the Bomb, and those who would resonate to it or be drawn to it. What is the impulse? King of Swords. Impulse is to cut people off. Cutting off dead weight because they are just too much. They don't actually hold a place in the future you're looking at. Yeah. There's this impulse to cut off people because you know you deserve to receive better energy, and the soulmate energy, these karmic soulmates, their energy is interfering. Their energy is lingering in your experience, in your mind. It is almost like static. It's almost like getting static energy out to the universe. You know, you just need to be honest with people. Quick, short, sweet honesty. Like, no, sorry, I can't today. No, sorry, I don't want to. Sorry, I'm not answering my phone. And then if they don't get the hint because you stopped answering, it's almost like stop responding, stop apologizing. Like, hey, sorry, I'm busy today. Hey, sorry, I'll reach out to you when I can. I'll reach out to you when. And if you don't reach out to them, then you don't need to answer. You know what I mean? It's like literally needing to cut people off because you have something you want to manifest that seems too far away. And it seems too far away because you have too much other energies invading your energy space. It's almost like a, I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me type situation with friends and or family and or even coworkers or acquaintances. Like, sorry, it's not you, it's me. I have too much going on in my own life and my own energy and in my own priorities. And it's not that you're not important. It's just I can't make you the priority right now. I have too much going on. I have to focus on me. I'll reach out to you at a time when I feel like I can. Letting people know, like, it's not their fault. They are who they are and they're just being authentic too. Like, you know, it's not their fault that their energy is invasive with yours. But it's literally needing to cut off the excess weight, energetic weight. Soulmates are too burdensome. And or too needy. They're just too needy. I'm going to put it that way. This Sagittarian Saturn energy with the Ten of Wands over the Venus and Cancerian energy of the Two of Cups, it's a very needy individual who is keeping you from the order moving forward. Like, I love you, but I can't focus on you right now. I love you, but I can't focus on you right now. It is not your fault. I'm going through some things. I know you want to help. You can't. I'm sorry. I have to do what I have to do. I will reach out to you. Please don't take it personal. You know what I mean? Like, please don't take it personal. Take fault where due. Take ownership where you need to take ownership. Being empathic for other people. You don't want to hurt anybody else. But the reality is you need to focus on who you need to focus on and what you need to focus on. And you can't be distracted. The reality is what the reality is. Internally, mentally. And you can't have yourself locked up in an energy prison just because other people are needy or want to have their hands in the pie, right? They want to have their hands in it. They want to be the hero. They want to be the one that helps you, or they're looking to you to be a hero, right? And they want you to be the one that helps them and is there for them when you just can't be right now. The Empress under the King of Swords needs to be able to receive that energy and look and receive the path forward. If you look at the Queen of Discs, she's looking back and forwards, right, at this path that seems far away, and the Empress is doing the same thing. She's doing the same thing, looking back and forward, and they're both looking towards the center cards, which are that heavy soulmate energy. And it's like the soulmate can't help it that they're kind of needy. It's just you have to focus on what you need to focus on right now. It's like, I love you, but I can't love you the way you want me to love you right now. I can't have you around me like the way you want to be around me right now. Please don't take it personal. It is not your fault, right? That's important. It's not your fault. I'm in an energy space. I'm in a zone, in a mode that I need to focus on. And as much as I love you, I cannot be distracted right now. I cannot take on your problems. I cannot take your cross and make it mine. I just can't. I have full faith and trust that whoever you need will be there for you. I am sorry it is not me this time around, right? What's the guidance card, please, Spirit? What is the guidance card, please? So it shall be. Ascended Master, Babaji, and Diamond. This came out the other day in one of the readings that I did. Sorry, guys. I had the instant urge to sneeze. Clearing out the third eye, right? So here we go. So it shall be. 35, not 25. It says, we bring you the blessing of so it shall be. There are times when you will go through your life without any sign of what is going to happen. You may be working hard to heal an issue or build your dream and not really know if you are ever going to be successful. You may hope for the best, but not know whether you should really expect the worst. You may sense that the universe is asking you to trust in how things are going to turn out, and yet giving up your uncertainty is difficult. That usually means total and uncompromising commitment is difficult too. Where there is uncertainty, there is often hesitation and procrastination with the Spirit. And Spirit doesn't want you to miss out on your dreams because of your lack of faith, and therefore are holding yourself back from going for it with all you have within. You are being given the blessing of divine decree, of absolute confirmation of success, and the divine is granting of a wish fulfilled. Switch your thinking from possibility to inevitability. It is not a question of if, but when. Know that you are going to succeed and commit yourself completely. Don't hold back. Go for it with gusto. According to divine will, you shall manifest the highest expression of your divine destiny in this lifetime. So it shall be. Right, this energy, whatever this soulmate energy is, it's not their fault, but they're not in alignment with your future. They're not actually in alignment with your future. Their energy is like putting a ball and chain weight on it and making it very difficult to get to the end of the line. You're looking at this path that seems too far away, and the only reason why it seems so far away is because you have an energetic ball and chain. Whether this person's intention or love for you is good or whatever, like it's not a matter of whether or not they love you or whether or not you love them or care about each other. It's a matter of their energy being a ball and chain. walking a mile without it would be a lot easier than walking a mile with it attached to your ankle and trying to drag it. You may or may not move forward at all, right? So when you take the ball and chain off of you and you can just freely move forward, you will actually get there much faster. It won't actually seem or feel so far away. This is a cord that has to be disconnected, a soulmate tie that has to be completed. The chapter needs to be completed and closed in order for you to move forward, right? And this card guarantees the outcome, that no matter how far away this looks, it's not unachievable to get there, okay? First thing is first, divine order of things. First thing is first, this soulmate chapter has to be closed, okay? That's the bomb. That's the bomb. It has to stop, end or discontinue, right? Even if they're, I'll put it this way, even if they're not completely out of your awareness, like just because you're done with their energy right now and can't deal with it right now doesn't mean they're not dealing with other people in your life. It's just you are no longer feeling obligated or bothered by it. You no longer have a say, reaction, hand in their energy whatsoever, right? They still exist in the world. They're still going on. You probably still have mutual connections, but you are not making it your concern right now. Okay, that is the green light impulse. That is what you can absolutely move forward with. So I hope that helps. That was secret code name, The Bomb. All right. Secret code name, Dalmatian. Secret code name, Dalmatian. And what's interesting, when I got this secret code name, I was reminded that Dalmatians were typically seen or symbolized with firefighters, okay? That they are rescue dogs, that they go into the fire and aid firemen, right? Dalmatians also are born completely white and develop their spots as they mature. As they mature, they become more authentic. When they're born, they're a white little puppy that looks like every other Dalmatian puppy. But as they mature and as they develop and they grow, they get their own authentic spots that set them apart from every other Dalmatian. They are unique and one of a kind. And yet they are this rescue animal of going in, you know, symbolic of going into the fire and rescuing. So I thought it was an interesting way to receive the code name Dalmatian. Spirit, please. What insight can you give us into the impulse? What is it? What does it look like? What is the impulse? What is the impulse for secret code name Dalmatian? And those who would resonate to it or be drawn to it, that it would stand out to them. What is the impulse? Ooh, that 10 of Wands flew right back out. What else? Princess of Discs. The 2 of Wands. Oh, I just heard this is my domain. This is my domain. The 10 of Swords is clarifying the 10 of Wands. The Prince or King of Discs is clarifying the Princess of Discs. Then we got the King of Cups. Clarifying, or the Knight of Cups, forgive me, clarifying the Two of Wands. And then we have the Five of Coin and the Nine of Swords. On the outskirts, we also have the Devil on the bottom with the Prince of Cups on top. Do not take my kindness for weakness. Do not take my kindness for weakness. Okay, you might already have an intuitive sensing that someone you're dealing with that you yourself are dealing with very spiritual heaviness and or depression and or recovery from something that was entirely ruined. It was a blow to the soul. This 10 clarified that by the 10, the wands and the swords, this is a spiritual blow. This is something that completely shattered and or ruined this spirit. Recent past. Recent is relative. It could be within the last 10 weeks or the last 10 months with the double tens. 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months. This is a blow to the spirit. Something that was ruined, right? The Princess of Discs is in the present with the Prince or King of Discs. This is something manifesting into the reality, a divine balancing, manifesting into the reality, because there's master manifestor energy here. Because I think you and this other person are connected through a link of taking a spiritual blow, you manifested each other in order to create some type of energetic calm or stability or balance in the reality with the double discs, right? The double suit of coins. The Two of Wands clarified by the Knight of Cups. This is an extension of love, protecting the self and the other person within the realm of dominion, okay? Being within your own domain. However, I think you are very aware of the fact that the energy is 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door. I think a part of you understands ultimately and or worries ultimately because you wonder if you're being cruel. As much as the heart is in it for stability and in it to create peace where there was mass disruption in the past, you wonder if the ultimate outcome would leave you being perceived as cruel. That if you were to move forward authentically 1 foot in and 1 foot out, that if it wouldn't be damning or damaging. And ultimately, I think this, the Devil clarified by the Magician and the Two of Cups, which means you're dealing with a soulmate, is ultimately going to end in heartbreak. And I think you know that. I think that even under that, there's this mental prison about it. And the Temperance is under that, which requires an alchemizing or balancing of elements. The Prince of Cups or King of Cups on top of the deck is asking you for empathy, knowing that you understand and sense this. The impulse, right? The impulse might be to continue forward with the peace that's manifested. However, it's also beating around the bush of the greater issue, which you know something is not meant to be. And it's a hurt experience in the making. I think a part of you is very aware of the fact that there's a hurt experience in the making. There's a reason why. There's a reason why you and another, right? These two characters, the Prince and of Discs and the Prince of Cups, the two kings, came together. One is very stable or focused in the reality, the actual 3D. The other one is very empathic and felt for the King of Discs character, right? Don't get hung up on the gender. These are two manifesting personality types. One has a very stable reality. I'm hearing the word sanctuary. And the other is very empathic and feels for the person, right? Feels for the King of Discs. And they both went through this spiritual blow or loss or something that was important to the soul that got ruined. Or is in ruin, a present state of ruin. There has to be an absolute drawn. I don't believe the 1 foot in and 1 foot out is going to last any type of long term. And so there has to be an understanding of that. That you guys are creating a buffer, almost like a soul buffer, trying to buff out the cracks or buff out the wounds. But that it is a temporary dynamic, which is ultimately where the worry of the cruelty comes from, because there is an awareness, I think, from both parties that this is not permanent and can't be permanent. And one doesn't want to hurt the other because they've already been through the hurt with other people. As long as that is understood, I don't believe that there is anything to actually worry about. The King of Discs might be worried about hurting the King of Cups, and the King of Cups might be worried that they will ultimately hurt and or disappoint the King of Discs. Okay. The 5 of Coins in traditional tarot is the figure shown isolated or thrown out of the home or the church or whatever the building is in the background, that they are left abandoned and alone. The worry of being perceived as cruel needs to be removed, because ultimately the whole situation is temporary and it's not actually in alignment with the highest good path at the end of the road. And if you were to continue with it, it would only be a detour, distraction away from it to continue down the path. Both parties need to know and accept that this relationship is a soul favor, but not a soul solution. You guys are here as soul favors to each other, but not as soul solutions to each other, okay? Do not buy into the idea that you are cruel. You or the other person. The other person can't believe that they're cruel either because they're not giving the other what they want, right? That's ultimately the breakdown in the mirror. One person can't worry or think that they're cruel because they are not holding up to the expectations they think the other has on them. This is a soul favor. The two of you in your reality is a favor from one soul to another. But it is not the solution, okay? It is not a soul solution. What is the guidance, please, Spirit? It's almost like the Dalmatian, right, working in the fire department. They go in, they rescue, but then they leave and go back to their fire department. You know what I mean? They don't stick around and become the nurture dog. You know what I mean? They come in, they get you out of the fire, and then everything goes back to working itself out the way it has to work itself out. Archangel Metatron and clear quartz power. Card number 1 is the guidance. Archangel Metatron is the archangel of signs, symbols, and synchronicities. Be aware of how the divine is communicating with you through signs and symbols, right? It says, together we bring you the gift of power. Spiritual power enables you to trust in your higher guidance, no matter what appears to be happening in your life. Psychological and emotional power enables you to transform through evolving your belief systems and processing your emotions, through which you gain wisdom. Physical power gives you the strength to take action on the matters that serve your life path. This gift of power is safe for you to receive because you will use it to fulfill your divine destiny, which in turn supports all beings. The nature of power is within you. As a part of your spiritual journey at this time, you are being given the opportunity to change your relationship to power, including your fear of being powerful. You do not have to be afraid of your power, and neither do they. And neither do they. Power serves, but too much power and control corrupts, right? This is understanding that what you do with your power and what they do with their power serves benevolency, right? It serves to benefit. When it becomes unhealthy for either person, when the situation becomes unhealthy, we have to be able to tune into that power of going back to healthy. Knowing when it's just simply time to move in separate ways, right? Trying to control it or continue it with a false narrative or expectations wouldn't actually serve. If you have a clear quartz crystal, I would keep it on you. It'll help keep your divine channel clear. If you have something like this this is actually for sale in my Etsy shop. This is a geode quartz. It helps you keep a clear connection, a clear channel to your higher self, right? Giving you clear direction when the mind would otherwise create worry, especially about how the self is perceived by other people. Understand you have complete power and control over yourself, and others have complete power and control over themselves. And for a certain period of time, we serve each other, and sometimes that time ends. You know what I mean? And it's just a respecting of the separating of ways when that time comes. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow, it didn't have to happen yesterday. It's just acknowledging that there is a moment of going of different paths coming, and that it arrives when it arrives, and when it arrives, it's just time. It's just simply time. And that you're both safe going along your separate ways, right? That the universe has both of your backs, and you will be able to move forward because of the experience you had being a sanctuary or a buffer with each other, right? That this time is being allowed to develop and rebuild and heal without further scarring, right? That you are doing soul favors for each other. So I hope that helps, right? I hope that helps relieve some of this worry, because I think you're very aware of it. There's nothing to actually worry about, okay? When the time is right, it will just simply be right, and that's all right. And that is all right. Put your best selves forward with and from each other, right? Best selves forward. All right. Secret code name, Sunrise. Secret code name, Sunrise. Mind you, the sun rises in the east. East is the element of air. It might benefit you to keep incense and smudge or something like that lit every day, especially in the morning. It is also good to sun gaze early in the morning when the sun is just coming up, because it is not so strong that it will essentially make you feel like you're being blinded by the light. Sun gazing early in the morning will absolutely help clear your third eye. All right, Spirit, what is the impulse? What is the impulse? What does it look like? How is it serving? Secret code name Sunrise, and those who would resonate to it, or that it would stand out to them. Me too. I love the sun in the morning. All right, we have the Nine of Wands with the Fool. And the Ace of Coin. Clarity, please. The Emperor. The Eight of Cups. And the Six of Wands with the Five of Coin and the King of Cups. That card is making quite the appearance, ain't it? We got Wheel of Fortune on the bottom and Temperance on top. All right. Secret code name Sunrise. Ultimately, I think you are taking a huge leap of faith away from something that was emotionally unfulfilling. That you're being super strong in the choice to move forward. that the impulse, right, would be to be strong and move forward, because I think you have a complete new beginning that you know is a victory and you're worried about it, but you shouldn't be. I think you're being drawn to it. I think you're being magnetized to it. Ultimately, fortune in your favor, away from disappointment and into abundance. And you're very much conflicted about it. I'm getting this feeling of you're afraid that it's not what you want. Or that you're worried it wouldn't work out. But I feel like it would. I feel almost like your worry or your doubt of it is what is needing to be overridden. That's what the impulse is trying to override. Because the sun, I mean, think about your code name. The sun is rising for you. This is about coming out of the dark night. And so these residual feelings of doubt or worry or feeling unfulfilled are from you being in the dark night or the painful healing process. But the sun is legit rising for you. Literally, the sun is on this card. The sun is over or above the moon. This is about the light of your sun sign overriding the shadows of your moon sign. Because the moon sign shadow is one of the biggest things that we heal during the dark night of the soul. When we're going through our most painful healing, it's the shadow of the moon. This is about utilizing the light aspects of your sun sign in order to push forward and override the shadow, the fear of the future. The fear of not knowing how it's going to turn out and being afraid. You have to understand there is a victory. There's a victory at hand because someone feels you. Someone feels the amount of shadow that you've had to go through. Someone is extremely empathetic towards you. They understand you on a very subconscious or deep level. They see your moon's wounds. And they understand or believe that they have the healing medicine that your soul needs to recover and shine. They understand that they're your soul medicine. And you don't need to worry because they have this understanding. This is where you alchemize. This is where you turn painful experiences into valuable ones, because it brought you this person. You might not be used to someone who is affectionate or used to nurturing you and considering you. That might actually make you uncomfortable because you're not used to it, but you are being considered. Someone is willing to consider and nurture you, where maybe you weren't considered or nurtured before. And it might be uncomfortable and you might push it away because you're afraid to lose that energy. But I don't believe that you're actually going to lose this energy. I think this is a brand new beginning for you with the Ace of Discs. Enjoy it for what it is in the moment. This is a time where your choices moving forward, your will to continue forward and take a leap of faith will benefit you a lot, even if it is not permanent. Even if it's not permanent. Take a leap of faith on moving forward away from something that was emotionally unfulfilling, because I do believe that this is a solid foundation. I do think you have fears of losing people that show love to you because it hurts. So be aware that you wouldn't push them away or avoid them, because whoever this is, they are definitely someone who feels emotionally connected to you. And I think you understand what that feels like in the mirror, because it's almost like you were this person for someone else. You empathically knew that you were their soul medicine and they pushed you away. And now you're in a situation where someone is the soul medicine for you and you can't do the same thing that they did to you, right? Whoever the past experience was. You knowing you were their soul medicine and they pushed you away, how much that hurt you. You're in a situation now where you are being given someone who is looking at you like they're your soul medicine, and understanding now the perspective of your past experience, you know, who you felt you were the soul medicine for, understanding the position of that person because you're in it. Who were they hurt by that they wouldn't allow your love in? Just like you were hurt by someone and now are questioning whether or not you can let someone's love in. You can almost understand and have compassion for your past experience because they went through something you didn't understand, and now you're actually starting to understand it. Being able to break the karmic chain of that pain is to allow yourself to receive the love of your soul medicine, whoever they are. Allow yourself to receive the nurturance. That's how you stop that chain, right? That karmic pain chain. Understanding that you deserve to be loved and you deserve to be fulfilled, and taking a leap forward, understanding that the person coming forward for you is absolutely a refilling energy. A refilling after the drain you put yourself through. For someone who was not in a place spiritually where they could receive your love that you drained for them and went through your dark night. Like, this is your rise. You got to understand fortune's knocking on your door. The reality is you can receive it now. The love that you didn't get in return from the person you gave to, you're receiving it now. The universe is paying up on that debt. Allow yourself to receive the balance, right? To receive the debt owed to you. What is the guidance, please, Spirit? For secret code name Sunrise. Searing Presence, Goddess Maya and Ruby Aura Quartz. I love this deck. I think the cards are so darn pretty. Card number 49. It says, we bring you the empowerment of Searing Presence. This empowerment enables you to see truth unveiled, naked divinity in all its beauty and mystery. In your willingness to become present, you shall witness the truth that will set your spirit free and make your heart come alive with divine love. No lie, deception, fear, or agenda remains hidden in Searing Presence, the ruthless compassion of which distills pure truth. With this empowering, you are going to see what you need to see, And you are going to be able to see the truth that there is only ever love seeking to free, heal, and discover itself. You will feel the grace that permeates your life and assists all beings. All impatience, doubt, uncertainty, and confusion shall give way, becoming soft like wax melted by a lit candle, and only the beautiful light of truth shall remain. Sometimes in our fear and resistance, we step away from the very thing we need to look at most closely. We are perhaps afraid of what we might see. Maybe we are afraid that we will witness something terrible about ourselves, that we are not a good person, not lovable or worthy, or perhaps we are afraid to see a truth we can no longer avoid, and we know we will need to take action that we don't quite feel confident or trusting enough to take. Although some truths can be uncomfortable for the mind, there is a deeper truth that brings only comfort. We access that depth of insight through searing presence. What this means is a willingness to stay put and delve deeper, to not judge the self, overanalyze, or complain, and instead just bear steady, neutral witness to what is that you are receiving. In that space of attentive but relaxed reflection, the truth rises up to the surface. When searing presence comes to you, you are being asked to give yourself an opportunity to know a deeper truth, that you are ready for it, and that it will help you. That it will help you. You know, this card addressed many things that you could potentially be afraid of or that you're worried about. The definition of this card brought up feeling unworthy or being afraid. And it also clarified that this isn't about running away from this or pushing away from this, but about allowing yourself to jump into it, knowing that you're moving towards something very, very beautiful, that you are in fact ready to receive, that it is an experience of love that is waiting to be realized and experienced, right? So I hope that that helps, because you obviously earned it. Something very beautiful. Trust. Trust, trust. Someone knows they're your soul medicine. Someone knows they're your opportunity to heal and receive beautiful energy that you undoubtedly earned. Okay. Secret code name. Strawberry shortcake. Secret codename Strawberry Shortcake. What is the impulse, please, Spirit? What is the impulse? What does it look like? For secret codename Strawberry Shortcake. And those who would resonate to it, or that it would stand out to them. What is the impulse? Got the Three of Wands. The Three of Coins in the reverse, the Ace of Wands clarified by the King of Discs, and the Six of Wands. Got the Four of Coins on the bottom and the High Priestess on top. Okay. Okay. High Priestess on top means your intuition is definitely calling to you. The Four of Coins on the bottom is almost this recognition because of this specific Four of Coins. There's the moat around the fortress in the center. The water, which is indicative or connected to the Piscean energy in the High Priestess card. Your intuition is protecting you and fortifying you. It is your first line of defense, right? Before your walls, your intuition is your first line of defense. Your intuition is different from the feelings inside the mind. With the Three of Wands here, clarified by the Eight of Swords, it's on this. I mean, the Three of Wands is a journey card, and the Eight of Swords is an interference or mental prison that the self is in. So you're on the journey, you know that you've stepped across the threshold and maybe are freaking out. It's almost as if you've walked out of your fortification, stepped outside of your intuition. And to be fair, that would feel like you're moving forward completely blind and like you can't move. That you've stepped outside yourself. Be aware if the impulse is putting yourself in a position where you absolutely don't know what to do. That you intuitively feel blind or disconnected when you make a choice like that. When you are separate from yourself or acting outside of yourself and your intuitive realm, there's this feeling of being stuck and lost and not knowing what to do. We have this Three of Coins in reverse, which means the severing or ending of a contract. Because it's creating a soul burden or spiritual burden, or it's keeping you stuck. It may be a physical location or something you actually have a physical contract with, whether it's a lease or a working relationship that you're contracted to a job, or anything else that you would have legal contract with, like an actual contract. It's keeping you feeling like you don't know what to do when you want to step outside of that, right? Intuitively, you might know that the contract has to end because it's what's keeping you confused or stuck about what to do. Once you let go of whatever that contract is, because it's keeping you spiritually anchored in a state of not being able to move forward and know what you're doing, that stepping outside of yourself or the world that you're in, your comfort zone, leaves you feeling almost spiritually blank. Once you release that, whatever the contract is that is ultimately creating this feeling, because I feel like you've attempted it or have fancied the idea of it, but you don't know what the fuck you would do because of this contractual situation. It could be, if it's not a legal on paper commitment, it could be something that you have vowed to the self or promised, right? That's keeping you stuck because you don't know what to do because of the contract. You don't know what to do because of the promise or the commitment. You want to act outside of it, but when you do, you don't know how because of it. Once you let it go, whatever it is, we get this Ace of Wands with the Prince or King of Discs and the Victory card with the Six of Wands. It is a huge spark of initiation, huge fire, manifesting for the self. This is a master manifester energy with the Prince of Discs. This is solid, steady, forward path, knowing that everything is revolving and circling around your energy because your energy is officially free of whatever this binding situation is. Strawberry shortcake. One, it's a cake that is it's sweet, but it is not overly sweet, and it is typically served in the spring. All right, the late spring when strawberries are big, which might denote time. But it's also like a childhood cartoon. Strawberry shortcake is a childhood cartoon. And this might be taking you back to something, an issue or something of the sort in your childhood. Feeling like you're restricted, or that because you've made promises or commitments that you're restricted. It might have been something learned when you were a child, like if your parents wanted to do certain things, but they couldn't because they had already made promises and or commitments that they felt they had to honor, even though it kept them stuck and restricted them. It might be something that you learned was acceptable or okay in your childhood, and now you're in a position where you're being restricted or limited because of promises that you've made or commitments that you've made, when really it's having to let go of the promise because, or the commitment, because it's keeping you confined when you are not meant to be confined. The impulse might be to listen to your intuition and return to yourself and not stray too far from yourself into the realm of commitments to other people. This is a return to self and what is good for the self, that your light has to do what your light has to do. That's the green light impulse, to return to the self and do what you need to do for yourself despite commitments that you feel restricted in having to uphold or honor, that are not actually serving you. The commitment might be serving someone else, but if it's not serving you, then the other person should also honor that it's infringing on you. And if they care about you, they will understand why this commitment is not fair. What's the guidance on this, please, Spirit? Yep, your time to shine, and Tiger Spirit Rises, card number 33 and 13. Plus we have multiple ones here and multiple threes here, so ones and threes might be super significant for you. All right. Card number 33 first. This is Ascended Master, Helios and Citrine. Really, they're both solar plexus chakra cards. They're both solar plexus stones. So, it says, we bring you the blessing of your time to shine. On the divine path, you gain empowerment through surrender and alignment with divine consciousness greater than your own. As you choose to surrender into higher consciousness through prayer and intention, you are held in a field of divine protection. You also gain strength, wisdom, and understanding. You release fear and gain love's power. You become increasingly radiant, discovering more of your own divine identity. And at some point on your path, whilst this is always happening for you on the inner planes, you will be ready to perform a similar function on the outer planes in the world of forms. This is when you will be asked to bravely shine your light to help those in need, perhaps lost or in darkness of some sort in the physical world. It is your time to shine. This is your time to shine. It goes on to talk about a lighthouse analogy. It's almost like we're this beacon, this lighthouse for other people. And we have to remember, you know, when people are lost in the dark night, sometimes we have to shine even brighter. Sometimes we have to shine even brighter. And sometimes being authentic and choosing our own path is just simply the way. If contracts, promises, or commitments are keeping you stuck, this would be a time where you have to shine, because if you're stuck, then they are as well, even if they don't feel that way. They're being pushed to grow because you're being pushed to grow, and that has to be accepted, right? The tiger's spirit rises. The tiger spirit rises with Angel, Anakiel, and Tiger's Eye. We bring you the gift of tiger spirit rising. You're being empowered with a truth more potent than fear. Your spirit is rapidly expanding beyond what opinion and logic can contain. It needs to be free to run wild with divine grace in the world. Your life, your destiny, your fulfillment requires that you have the courage to roar for love and refuse to be put down, to respect yourself and let your untamed, loving heart be free. Your spirit creates a field of divine electricity through your body and mind that can liberate others from conformity and social conditioning, allowing them to break away from systems based in control and fear. As your tiger spirit rises, you excite and empower the tiger spirit and others to rise above conditioning as they discover the wild divine spirit they are in truth. And that's exactly what this message was about. This is about you breaking free from whatever is actually restricting you and holding you back, so that you can absolutely shine, right? This super shine, super victory moment that you have manifesting for you when you allow yourself to reclaim the authenticity of the self and release the obligations that are keeping you feeling like you're lost and you don't know what to do when you step outside of those things or want to step outside of those things, right? I hope that helps, because the green light go impulse is to set yourself free. Is to set yourself free of what you feel you've obligated or committed yourself to, that honoring is keeping you stuck. It's keeping you from growing or expanding or experiencing what you need to experience. All right. Secret code name, Clematis. Secret code name, Clematis. Clematis is such a beautiful flowering vine. It really is. And if you look up the metaphysical or spirit properties of Clematis, it's really interesting. So spirit. What is the impulse? What is the impulse? What does it look like? For secret code name, Clematis. What is the impulse? What does it look like? for secret code name Clematis and those who would resonate to it or that it would stand out to them. High Priestess. Two of Cups and Justice. Clarify, Spirit. All right. The Hermit on the bottom. Oh, I'm hearing Fleetwood Mac. You can go your own way. Nine of Wands on top. Go your own way. All right. I think you are facing some things that feel really heavy on you. I think you've outgrown a soulmate. I think you've outgrown a soulmate. If you think about Clematis being a vine, vines have tendrils that curl and connect to things for support, but then keep growing and grow past it, right? I think you've outgrown a soulmate. I think intuitively you know it. I think there's been a lot of support given and received with this soulmate. I think there's been a lot of benefits to you having each other. I think that there's been balance in your life brought by them in past times. But I definitely think it's time for you to move on and move your own way. The Chariot's under that. It's time for you to move forward. So much so with the Chariot underneath the Hermit that if you don't move forward from them, the universe will intervene. Like, you have to keep growing. I think a part of you knows that this cycle's closing. I think a part of you feels as if you're failing them by leaving or going your own way. That might be triggering for you, childhood wounds, like especially if you lost friends along the way, like maybe you never really had a true support, a true supportive friendship, or true supportive connection. And almost feeling like, feeling that leaving them behind kind of feeling. But it's a matter of perspective. You're not leaving them behind. You're allowing yourself to grow. You're allowing them, in turn, to grow, to hold a special place in your life experience as a figure in multiple chapters even, you know, as a character of great importance and value to you. But I think the fear of failing them and letting them down is a mirror of the failing of the self that takes place when you don't let them go. When you don't complete the chapter with them. It's triggering illusions or childhood wounds. I think you will always be friends in soul with this person. I think you will always be supports for each other. And that your person ultimately knows that you growing and thriving and being beautiful on your own has a lot to do with them and the love and support that they gave you. I think they will always have a certain amount of gratitude for being able to provide you the support that they did throughout the years, and vice versa. But I feel like not letting them go and growing beyond it would leave you feeling some kind of regret that you didn't get to experience certain things, and you're not going to know what those things are because you never got to experience them. It's just a lingering feeling of, was my life all it could be? I think this person was definitely placed in your life to be supportive and a safety net and soul, but that you were always meant to grow past them. Like, especially because Clematis, you see it a lot of times growing along lattice, and if you look at this High Priestess card, she's holding this lattice work net, right? She's holding what looks like lattice work, and she has still yet grown up beyond it, and she's the one holding the lattice. It's almost like your growth, your flourishing actually gives light and purpose to the support. Your growth and your beauty and your flourishing give purpose to the support, that they feel like they've served good purpose for you. This person wouldn't want to see you not grow for them. You actually end up holding the value of your soulmate. That because you are successful and thriving and happy, they feel more whole and complete because their mission as your support was accomplished. The impulse is to grow and go your own way. But ultimately, I feel like it's a very beautiful parting of ways. I feel like it's a success story. What's the guidance, please, Spirit, for secret code name Clematis? Yeah, original self. Ascended Master, White Matthew, and Dan Bright. Card number 30. Okay. It says, we bring you the blessing of original self. As you progress through your life, learning and growing, you gain wisdom and strength. You grow more radiant and authentic, true to who you are, and as this happens, many of the layers of your identity begin to fall away. What you once believed yourself to be is shown to be not much more than the clothing you wore, your soul wore for a time. You have outgrown it. It is no longer a good fit. It constrains too much, doesn't reflect your personality, vibrancy, uniqueness, and beauty, and so you discard it. Perhaps you are able to be more spiritually naked. The sense of who you are becomes simpler. You are just you. Others may or may not get you, but nonetheless, you are still just you. You are freeing yourself from the projections of others, of the world, and simply living as your original, radiant, divine self. You know, it's funny that they bring up the analogy of clothing, because I was almost going to say, it's almost like things that we wear and keep in our closet for a decade, and it defines chapters of ourself, because this item of clothing was with us. It was a part of us for years, right? That we define a whole period of ourself through something sitting in our closet for a decade old, and all of a sudden it doesn't resonate with you anymore. It doesn't fit right anymore, or it's worn out, washed out, and you don't wear it anymore, but it's still sitting in the closet. It's knowing that you can let go of that piece of clothing because it is simply just taking up space. It doesn't serve any purpose for you anymore. It doesn't fit you the same way, doesn't wear the same way, doesn't look as good on you anymore. Like, it is not the energy that you're in. You're wearing other things, things that resonate with you, things that make sense for you, things that make you feel beautiful, and that doesn't do it anymore. Whoever this soulmate is possibly defined a period of your life that you became kind of by default defined with them, right? That there's certain parts of yourself that you define because of them. And now it's letting go of their adverse definition on you go so that you could be wholly and fully yourself without them. It's almost like keeping an energetic crutch. It's almost like keeping an energetic crutch when you can stand up and walk without it. You're not defined by it anymore. It's not actually supporting you or serving support. It's just a reminder that you needed help when you don't actually need the help anymore. Clothes like that are always great, donated to charity. And it's almost like this soulmate person would do much better serving other people in the highest good, that they would be another support for someone else, because their support of you is no longer required, necessary, or beneficial, right? I think whoever was in your life for this chapter is a beautiful person. I think that they would love to see you thriving and happy. And it's just time to go your own way. Like, it's time for you to find who you are without them. It's time to find who you are without them. You've been defining yourselves through each other for too long. And I think the great memories should always be remembered. I think the love for this person should always be honored, because I feel like the love between the two of you is very real. But when it's time to grow, it's time to go. I think you've outgrown this person. And they deserve to be elsewhere. Right, and knowing that you're thriving and that you're happy in the long run, they will always feel and soul like they had that special place and purpose in your life that helped you get there. Yeah. So I do hope that helps. I do hope that helps, but it is definitely a time to let that go. Okay. All right. I think, guys, that I am going to take a quick humanness break. I think I'm going to leave this as part 1. Give me just a bit, and I will be back for part 2. Okay? Just a bit. I'm not going to be long. But I will be back in just a minute for part 2. All right? Intermission.